On this episode of Across All Borders Going West, it's all about traveling between São Vicente and Santo Antão by ferry. What can you expect of this journey? It is a scenic, convenient way to explore these two Cape Verdean islands. To the best of my knowledge, I'm not aware of any commercial carriers that offers flight services between these two islands. Perhaps private charter. So you will most likely have to take the ferry. On this episode, I will give you a guide to help you plan based on my experience and information that is available online. We're going to look at the ferry operators you can use, their schedule, how to get to the ferry terminals and back, what you can expect of the road network in Santo Antão if you decide to drive yourself. Let's start with the ferry services. There are two main operators for this route between Mindelo and Porto Novo. These are the two towns where the terminals are located. Mindelo for São Vicente and Porto Novo for Santo Antão. Heading to Porto Novo, I used CV Interilhas. They offer multi-day departures, which are from Mindelo to Porto Novo at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. From Porto Novo, you can catch their ferries at 9 a.m. or 4 p.m. to Mindelo. For my return, I used Nosferry, the second operator I'm going to talk about. They run a slightly different schedule. Monday to Saturday, ferries depart from Mindelo at 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. and from Porto Novo at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Sundays, they depart from Mindelo at 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. and from Porto Novo it's 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. You can find this information on their websites. These are the two main service providers. My experience, I would say the Nosferry was newer, but it also cost a bit more. Both services take approximately 1 hour to cross. You can purchase the tickets in advance. In fact, it is advisable to do so. I got my ticket to Porto Novo a day or two before. I walked to the ferry terminal in Mindelo, and on arrival in Porto Novo, I purchased my departure ticket for 4 days later. So let's look at getting to the ferry terminal. The Mindelo Maritime Terminal is located near the city center, making it easily accessible by foot with public buses or taxis. Taxis could be useful depending on what time you're departing, the amount of luggage you have, and the distance of your accommodation. In my case, I took a taxi from my Airbnb because of my luggage and the departure time, and I didn't want to risk waiting for a shared minivan. So your options are the aluguer and taxis. In Porto Novo, Santo Antão, the maritime terminal is situated at the harbour, and it is the main port of entry to the island. Options for transportation to and from the terminal include the aluguers. They depart to various destinations on the island, and the cool thing is that when you walk out of the ferry terminal, you will see them holding signs indicating their end destination. They usually cost anywhere between 300 to 600 escudos, depending on where you're going to. There are also private taxis and hotel transfers as well, but obviously these options are more pricey. An additional service you can get at this terminal is the car rentals. This can come in handy if you choose to drive yourself on the island. On arrival in Porto Novo, I wasn't very sure how it worked, but as soon as I stepped out, I got a van headed to Ribeira Grande. Once there, I found out I had missed the Colectivo going to Gaza, so I had to take a taxi to Gaza. For my departure from Santo Antão, it included a taxi from RM Green Hotel down to Ribeira Grande and the aluguer to Porto Novo. Regardless of if you are planning a day trip or an extended stay, the ferry ride between São Vicente and Santo Antão offers you stunning views and a glimpse of the maritime life in Cape Verde. Upon arrival, the island's natural beauty and warm welcome awaits you. Let me share my experience coming and going and also a bit of information about the road network in Santo Antão. Come along with me. This is the ferry terminal. I'm taking the ferry to Santo Antão. It leaves 2 times a day, 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. And when you get to Santo Antão, you can take Algoyers, which are the shared buses. They're different prices. I've seen online, some said 400, some said 500. We'll see how much it is. Otherwise, getting to the ferry terminal, like most of the trips within Mindelo, it's like 200 bucks. The only, so 200 scooters, the only time they will charge you anything more than that is when we go, for example, to the airport, to another village, or going up to Verde, in which case some of the buses still go there. You then don't have the flexibility of it leaving when you want. The ticket was 8,000, so like roughly 10 euros on the ferry. I need to get one coming back, because if you're flying after Santo Antão, you still have to come back to São Vicente. So let me show you a bit of that. We're going to leave through that. On the bag. Okay, so now they're gonna load the bags. I don't know if they put tags on it, but this is where that's the ferry. Or are they scanning again? They're scanning the tickets again. Let's get it from the side. Not looking for the picture. There you go. That's the ferry. Get it scanned again. I'm about a boat. So we are on the ferry going to Santo Antão. I've taken the middle seat as I was advised, and I'm going to hope that saves me from any kind of weird motion sickness. Let's turn you around. And that's the ferry, a bit of it. And I'm just going to take a few seconds and turn around. There's a TV in front. There's a cafe. Actually 2 TVs, so if you sit closer you might be able to see something. Not interested in watching anyway, but that's what it is. So we've arrived, and that's Nosferry. That's the one I'm gonna take back. I have to go book the ticket already. Oh, and that's ours. That's ours, way. That's the one we came with. Porto Novo in Santo Antão, and I've just gotten my ferry ticket to go back. I'm going with Nosferry, so I'm going with a different one than I came with. It's 1,500 more. Sorry, it's 500 more than the other one. It is. Let me show you this. They actually have escalators here. It actually feels like a more newer ferry terminal. It's 500 more to go, but I'm guessing because their terminal is much, their thing is much nicer. Let us go and get the Algoyer. I've got the bus, and it's 500 to Ribeira Grande, and it's a shared bus, and there's a space for your luggage, so you don't have to worry about that. My luggage is on the roof, and we're going to do the drive, which is about 45 minutes to Ribeira Grande, and it's a really nice clean bus, and there are people standing in front with the signs showing you that they're taking passengers to different parts of the island. So you just grab one of these buses. They are taxis. There are the possibilities to rent a car if you want to rent a car and drive yourself. Otherwise, you have multiple ways: the bus, the taxi, to get to where you're going to. So I'm just going to show you a bit of the way, and then we'll put this off. In terms of driving yourself, the roads in Santo Antão are known for their rugged terrain, the mountainous landscapes, and the deep valleys. You'll be going up some steep roads and down some roads that might give you some chills, so buckle up. They are the national roads EN1, EN2, and EN3. These are primary routes that connect major towns and regions. You have the rural roads which connect smaller villages and remote areas. I reckon the roads that I walked on during my coastal hike might be these ones. I'm not 100% sure. If you're curious about the hike, you can click on the link on the right side of the screen now. Finally, we have the municipal roads managed by the municipality. These roads serve as intra-town connectivity. A lot of these roads are paved and offer amazing scenery, either from the coast or inland. Some of them are in varying conditions, so it is important to be careful and navigate the winding paths and steep inclines with some caution. With regards to public transport, shared vans and taxis are also available across the island. On arrival in Mindelo, I arranged a transfer taxi to the airport so I could catch my flight to Praia. So let's enjoy a few more minutes of this winding roads before going into the Porto Novo departure experience with Nosferry. Wie viel Internet bekommt ihr für diese 10 Euro SIM-Karte?
11 Giga.
Oh, ist auch nicht schlecht.
Ja, ja, das ist viel.
Okay. Ja.
Hat es am Flughafen gegeben?
Ja, ich hab's gesehen, aber ich dachte, du kriegst ja Wi-Fi überall. Und ich wollte einfach diese einen SIM-Karten nicht rausholen. Hätte ich auch machen können.
Ja, ist schon praktisch.
Ja, ist schon, auf jeden Fall. And then one night RM. Yeah. Ah, okay. Yes, I see. Minga Totolo. I saw that one as well.
Yeah, it's nice. I have something here.
The map. Okay, so we are done with Santo Antão. I am at the ferry station, and today was a real, an exercise, because when I got to the hotel yesterday, I told them I wanted a taxi to Ribeira Grande at 6:30, so I could take the 7 o'clock Colectivo to Porto Novo. So of course you can take a private taxi if you want to Porto Novo, but that's like 5,000, which is equivalent maybe 37 euros or something. Or you can, if you are in Ribeira Grande or somewhere where the Colectivo directly departs to Porto Novo, you can take it from anywhere between I would say 300 to 500. It really depends on where you join the Colectivo. So I wanted to, of course, take the option of the Colectivo, and I asked them to organize a taxi for me at 6:30 in the morning, and I spoke to the guy twice. Well, I spoke to the lady in the morning, spoke to the guy in the evening, and I got up quite early today, so like at 6 or something. I couldn't sleep, so I called the reception. I was like, hey, I hope my taxi is going to be there at 6:30. And he was like, what taxi? I was like, no, don't play with me, because I'm not going to pay 50 euros for a transfer. So they got me a taxi. The guy showed up at like 6:50, and the drive down to Ribeira Grande is not, the road is not one where you rush or something, but thankfully they all have each other's numbers, so they called the Colectivo, and the guy was waiting for me, sort of doing his rounds and waiting for me, so I got down and he was there. Crazy thing is, he has probably one of the oldest buses I've been in, so it was slow and struggling to like make the route, but thankfully because I had already calculated that no matter what happened, if I left an hour to get here before 8:30, I would be able to still get my ferry without any problem. So I got on the bus at 7 and he was literally slow. And we got here at like 8 exactly, so which is perfect because boarding is 8:30. So everything was cool. And I'm gonna board. Now of course I have to get from the ferry terminal to the airport and hope there are no hiccups with anything else. And then I think if there's internet at the airport in São Vicente, I might look at the ferry to Brava, or I'll ask them at the station what it costs and how rough the waters are. Yeah, we'll see. I just read some posts about people having their flights, not to Brava, to Fogo, having their flights from Cape Verde Airlines cancelled with no notice and no refund. So I don't want that experience. So I'm not going to try to fly to Fogo. I'm going to try to use the ferry to go to Fogo and come back on the ferry, and then hopefully I should be able to get a flight from Praia to Boa Vista. So I will book all of that when I get to Praia. That's the plan. But here behind me is the ferry terminal here in Santo Antão, and the ferry I'm taking this time around is Nosferry. I took the Interilhas when I was coming in, so I'll show you a bit of the inside of this one. It looks newer. I don't know if there's anything different about it. It just looks newer. Has a different departure time. If I had taken CB, I would have left at 10. So I'm actually quite happy for the 1 hour earlier. Yeah, let's see what we'll use it for. Those are the Algoyers. They're crossing over, and that's boarding. Oh, that's where we left the suitcases at the back. That's the inner deck of the Nosferry. It's actually, they say it's newer and larger, and it is. It is actually huge. But what's even more cool is they have an outside sitting area, which I'm definitely not going to stay there. And they have a huge cafe, which I like. So I'm going to show you that. I'm just going to go back and sit where I was sitting. Look at that. And do they have an upper deck? No, that's not a viewing deck. It is nice, but I'm not under the illusion that I will for 1 second want to sit outside, because I remember, oh, it's further. I remember this boat ride distinctively, and I will not for any money on earth sit on top of that deck, because it is going to be very, 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 very wavy. But oh, that's the one I came with. So that's the one I came with at the back. Aha. It's just arriving, and this is Porto Novo, which I didn't really get to see. I just got off here, but it's really nice. So I'm gonna put myself in the scene. Similar. This is Porto Novo at the back. Yes, Porto Novo. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go get a coffee, and then I have to show you something. I'm gonna go get a coffee. The most interesting aspect of it will just be the fun. Ladies, I have something new for you. There is the ferry. So, turns out the lady at the ferry station wasn't lying. When I was trying to book my ticket to come here, she actually, one of them was standing outside, and she said, hey, I'm from Nosferry, you should book us. And I was like, nah, but I've not seen anything about you online. I've just seen CV Interilhas, and that's who I came with. And she was like, our ferries are nice. And I was like, probably everybody says that, but she didn't actually lie. It's way much nicer. It's a bit more expensive. I mean, I totally recall that I paid 1,000 to come here, and there's 1,500, but for like the ferry and the service I get is okay. But I'm not sitting outside. This is really nice. It's a lovely deck. I'm not pretending that it's going to be anything less rough than when we came, so I'm just going to go back in. I hear them blaring the horn, so that is my signal to go in. I'm not staying here for a second. I don't want to get seasick, so I do hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you very much for watching. Yours truly, Liesel81.
Ja, ja, später mir immer diese.